Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Diamond Mothering. We are here to illuminate the core of the feminine force. So thank you for joining me tonight. I'm here alone without one of my little mouseketeers, but that's okay. I'm sure we're going to have a good time. I wanted to talk about being emotional. And this is something that I can remember as a teenager. Like, I was always told how emotional I was and that I was the emotional one of the family. And there's something that has just come to light for me. Like, the more I work with my emotional world and the emotional world of others, the more I start to see so clearly certain things that I've just missed all the way along. And one of those things is about being emotional. Now, we get emotional. I used to be so emotional, and I used to think I really knew my feelings. I used to think I was in touch with my feelings because I was emotional. And it wasn't actually until I was about 38 that I realized, even though I got emotional and that I could cry, and I cried an awful lot, I actually didn't even know what I was feeling. I really didn't know how to get in touch with my feelings or what to do with them. So I'm going to suggest to you today that next time you feel yourself being emotional, ask yourself some questions, because what I've noticed is that sometimes people can get emotional when they're spurting their feeling out. It's almost like venting my feelings that I don't want to own or that I don't know what to do with. I vent them out in an emotional outburst. So, yes, I'm emotional, but I'm actually bypassing my feeling stage. Now, for any of you who've been watching these lives, know that's not what we want to do if we want to have a fun, joyful, and carefree life. So, if we cannot bypass our feeling stage, because our feelings are what hold information, they actually give us the data that we need to be able to deal with what we're facing right now. That's how we evolve as human beings. And if we don't feel our feelings, we end up in these repetitive cycles where we get more and more and more stress. We feel these repetitive feelings over and over again. Hello, Rainbow Warrior World. Nice to have you here. So, feeling our feelings is something that I highly recommend. It's something that we haven't been taught to do. It's something that actually isn't in our culture. Like, it's not part of our education program, but it's something that really is our natural way. And I'd like to help you feel your feelings rather than getting emotional, because being emotional is okay when you can feel the feelings underneath. Sometimes we just don't know how to feel those feelings. So when somebody says to you, don't be so emotional, take that as maybe a helpful hint that there's something that you could be looking at that maybe you can deal with right now. Are you skipping over the feelings and just getting emotional and venting them out because it's just so much feeling, you don't know what to do with it, so you're just emotional and you're just spurting it all out? And if so, that's okay. But take a moment and just go, well, what am I really feeling? Because this is the opportunity for you to grow. This is the opportunity for you to step back into your power. Because often when you're emotional, how do you feel? Like, you feel powerless, right? Like, I remember just crying myself to sleep on my bed, or, like, they said I was emotional because I had all these feelings and I was trying to express it to them. I was trying to talk to them. This is my parents. I was trying to talk to them, and yet I just couldn't speak because I was so emotional. Had I taken a moment actually to be with myself and maybe write out what I felt and tried to get in touch with what I was feeling, what am I feeling showing me right now? What do I need to do for me? How can I actually take responsibility for what's going on with me? If I'd done that little bit of research and investigation into what was going on for me, I probably would have found that I could communicate what I was feeling a lot better. I wouldn't have been told I was so emotional. I wouldn't have felt so emotional. I wouldn't have felt so out of control. I wouldn't have felt so powerless. And ultimately, that's what we want to do, right? We want to be able to not control our feelings, but understand our feelings well enough so that we can take charge when we need to, so that we can work with them, so that we can access the information that the feelings are bringing us. We can make the adjustments. We can use them to find out what's really being activated within us, and then we can step back into our true power. We can step back into our true state. Because then when we go to communicate with other people, when we go to take action, and even the way we feel about ourselves, it'll be so much more effective. And we're going to start getting the outcomes that we really want. By not doing that, we step into the dynamic, and the dynamic creates disconnection. When we create disconnection, we actually separate ourselves from the love and the intimacy that we really want. So the benefits of just taking that time when you're emotional to really ask yourself, what am I feeling? Yes, I'm emotional, but what is it that's underneath? What am I really feeling here? And owning that feeling. The benefits of that is that you don't get into the dynamic. You actually get to see what it is in you that's being activated, and you get to meet those emotional needs yourself. And that really is a place of unshakable power. And when we're in relationships, being able to step back into that place in yourself helps to build connection, helps to build love, and helps to build intimacy. So my top tip for this feminine first aid is, next time you get emotional, rather than thinking, oh, I'm so emotional, stop for a minute and just go, well, what am I really feeling? What's underneath the emotional? Have a look, validate yourself. Why wouldn't you be feeling this? It's okay to feel this. We all have feelings. That's part of the human experience. And every single feeling we have is there to help us evolve. If you skip over that and get too emotional, you miss the information that you need to come into a greater version of yourself. So validate the feeling. It's okay to be feeling this. Why wouldn't I feel like this? And then have a look for what's underneath. What's being activated in me? I ask myself questions like, I wonder if this could be because I'm not feeling safe. Or maybe it could be because I'm feeling not good enough. Like, often not good enough hides underneath a lot of my reactions. And as soon as I can pinpoint what it is in me, that emotional need, I have the opportunity then to meet that need myself. And that's pretty amazing, because I don't have to wait for anybody else to turn up. I don't have to wait for anybody else to change. Right here and right now, I can go from feeling powerless to feeling empowered by meeting that emotional need myself, feeling that love in my body, doing something that makes me feel valued. And then when I come into the wholeness, I can actually see the changes I need to make. I can see the changes or the things that I need to say to people so that I don't have to repeat this cycle again. So that's the choices that you make. You can be emotional, very emotional, and you're going to experience the same cycles over and over again. And sometimes, by default, we go, oh, I don't want to look at those feelings. They're too hard. But honestly, isn't it harder to go through those dynamics over and over again, forever and ever and ever? Like, if you just stopped right now and just had a look what was underneath and started to evolve from the feeling, you don't have to go through it over and over again. So if I can highly recommend, next time you get emotional, look for what's underneath. Own that feeling. Validate that feeling. Find the emotional need underneath that feeling and meet the need. And then make your next thought or word or action from that place. I'm missing my little partners in love that normally join me tonight, but I hope that you got a lot of value from that. And I'm so grateful to have you on. The two people that are watching me, hello, Caroline, and whoever else, thank you for joining me. I hope that was beneficial to you all, and I'm sending you love for a beautiful evening here in Australia and a beautiful day for everywhere else on the globe.